And we're live. Farmer turned SWE. I love that.
That's
Hey,
right.
everybody. It is Monday, November 17th. We're at 3 p.m. Eastern. It is Jason with the Tech Commute. It's great to see everybody. And I am super stoked to be here with fellow 100-dever Marcia Cripps. I love that last name. We were talking about the bookcase back there, and I actually had a question because when you left, do I see some sort of like crowns or tiaras behind you?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. You are totally right. Yep.
We're going to
And
need to hear a backstory on that. But first, before we get started on that, thanks everybody for being here. It's great to have you. We'll go through some housekeeping stuff for all our events. Head over to Torque.community. Head over to AppRate Backend as a service. Shout out to Dennis and Tessa and Aditya, everybody over there. I am a hero. And they also helped out with the 100 devs on a couple hackathon projects, which I think is great. We'll give a shout out to that later. And dress code, which I'm not wearing today, but they usually have some really fun clothes you should check out. Without further ado, I would love for Marcia to introduce herself to everybody. Marcia, go ahead.
hi everyone. I'm Marcia, and yeah, proud alum of 100 devs, just like Jason, and happy to be here. And yeah, I love that you do this and have so many interesting people and
I,
interesting topics.
I love to have chats. Everybody's got a different story, and I love yours, and I want to just kind of dig right into that. Why don't you tell us before tech a little bit about what you were doing? Because you have not been in tech your entire career.
That is correct. So I'm a proud third generation farmer and grew up around agriculture, and that's exactly what I started doing professionally. I was an agronomist, and that's basically a plant doctor. And then I always, I guess, had an interest in tech and computers. I just didn't think it was something you could do.
Did you look at tech as something? I'm assuming you kind of initially thought of it as ways it could benefit you on the agricultural side.
That's right. Yeah, I like. So growing up, I grew up in a rural area. I had dial up. So like I know I missed out on the whole MySpace Neopets thing because I couldn't get past the login. But
Oh wow.
I really enjoyed working with like Microsoft Excel or like Microsoft Word,
hmm
especially Excel. Like I love the idea of like formulas and like what it could do and how it saved time. And yeah, professionally, once I finally got high speed internet, I liked automating stuff away.
So I am curious about that too because I did see quite a pivot from your days at 100 devs more into like Python and
Correct.
automation. So as far as like the agriculture, so what was your title? I
Agronomist, a
agronomist.
yeah, that's right.
All
Yep.
right. So, what sort of schooling does that involve? And you did mention that you were on an agricultural farm. I actually grew up on one of those as well. So, I totally remember like being a kid. I think my first job was actually out in the berry fields, picking the pecks. It was like 25 cents or 50 cents a peck. I was like 12 or 13. Um, yeah, I definitely remember those days. So when you were kind of considering the family business, why did you go toward agronomist?
I think I just always liked science. I always appreciated being outside too. I
Mm,
love being outdoors, and I like that with agronomy. Your job was literally you could be outside, but also had the balance of solving problems for people. And I think that's still something that's true today. Is that I just like making people's lives easier and solving stuff with science and tech.
so would you say you were always sort of a natural born problem solver? Because it seems like you transitioned from solving problems on farms to automating and solving problems elsewhere.
Yeah, I guess so. That's perfectly encapsulates like what I do, which is yeah, I like to solve people's problems, and in particular, I like making their lives easier.
Nice. I like that. So what was kind of that first touch point for you with tech? Moving away from once you were in the agronomist role, and how long did you do that before you kind of made the pivot?
I did that professionally for I believe 5 years. Yeah, 5 years straight out of
Wow.
college. I had to get a master's degree in it too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which even though like as a software engineer, I don't use the agronomy masters. I do still teach college level, so that's where it comes into play. But
Wow.
no, I was just kind of fed up, honestly. I hit burnout, like that's the best way to put it, with the agronomy job. And during harvest season, I was pulling like 80 to 200 like hours a week just working because yeah, there's no work life balance. I was
Jesus.
scrolling on TikTok to try to like, just get relief as one person does, and I saw something about coding, and I was like, hey, that kind of resonates with me. I like the idea of problem solving,
Yeah.
and I got lucky. Somebody told me about 100 devs, and it was like middle of cohort two, and I was like, well, I'm a little late, but you know what? I'm gonna commit to this, and I'm like, I gave myself 6 months. I told myself, hey, if I can get some kind of traction or a new job by month six, then great. And then, as you guys know the story, I did it in 4.5 months.
You crushed it. So
Yeah.
so during harvest season, and obviously anybody that maybe hasn't worked on a farm or in any sort of agricultural capacity doesn't quite really understand that. Can you talk about what your day to day was when you were, I mean, breaking that down, that's what, 12 to 18 hours a week, and there
Yeah,
isn't days off.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, even I'd go in on Saturdays, Sundays because you were just so weather dependent. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, no, I'd get up at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning. I'd go drive a lot to fields, look at fields, and then scout, look around for stuff. And based on what I saw, then I'd spend the rest of the time putting in orders for chemicals and talking to people and letting them know, hey, why you need to like spray stuff if you did, or why you need to do X, Y, and Z. And yeah, it was a lot. And then harvest season, like you were just following the tractors, you're following the harvest, watching the quality and testing constantly. I don't think people realize like how much testing that goes into food to make sure like
Mm.
there's chemicals on it and that it's not hurting people. And yeah, it takes time, effort, energy. So
What was, I mean, you talked about burnout there, and obviously that's something we also see a lot in the tech industry, and I experienced that too in my background in film. Um, how did you see that coming for yourself? What were, what, as we call it, like the symptoms for you?
oh, just fatigue, and then I got into a pretty big car wreck too. Like I was driving my pickup truck and got into a big wreck just because of
Wow.
tiredness. That's what ended up happening. And then yeah, and then just the feeling of not being able to get up out of bed too. So yeah, I just knew it was kind of. I felt like I ran its course with that career, and I was
Mm.
like, I'm just ready for a change. So I embraced the 100 devs thing, and I found out, oh wait, this does resonate. Actually am picking up this material, and I ran with it.
That's awesome. It's hard that sometimes it has to come to that to kind of get to that realization. So, how did you sort of make that transition? Obviously, again, you're spending a lot of hours at work.
Yep.
Obviously, trying to like, how much did you allocate time wise initially to 100 devs when you made that transition?
I mean, I did all the things that Leon said, and then my pacing, by the way, was one class a day, which I
Wow.
know was like exactly what Leon said not to do,
Yeah.
but it worked out in the end. No, and yeah, I'm not endorsing dangerous stuff here, but I would be like on the tractor and I'd just be having the class play through the Bluetooth or in my truck too. Like I'd just have it, and then yeah, if you would be riding with me during the time, it would just be me going, repeating what Leon was saying, like, oh yeah, it's a wire, or yeah, that is a variable. What's the difference between comparison and assignment? And it sounded like I was crazy, but that's how I picked up on it. And then I don't think I like actually used an IDE till like class 10 because VS Code confused me so much that
Really?
I was handwriting like for until class 10.
Wow, that's interesting actually. I remember commuting to work one way, was 1.5 hours when the weather was good, fell asleep luckily only once and turned around and went home. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, especially when you're putting those kinds of hours in, that exhaustion, it's real. How did you, speaking of that, then how did you find the time to focus? Were you just that inspired by the content, like wanting, like kind of having that realization, I need to transition to something else? Was
Yeah,
that enough for you? Yeah.
that was enough. That was
Yeah.
like my why, is like what Leon tells us.
Mm,
And my
hmm.
why was, I'm like, I'm ready to make a drastic change, and this seems like it's resonating. And obviously, the energy at 100 devs is contagious.
Oh
And I
yeah.
was like, let me give it a shot. And No, I think I got really inspired when like I made my first like API. I think it was that API project. I used like a different API, and I was like,
Hmm.
oh, like I can do stuff with this. And making that portfolio page, I think like really proved it to myself. Like there's something to this.
Yeah, that's awesome. Roxy Shewich, who you know, shout out to
Yes.
Roxy. I love hearing about that. How you listen mostly because she does that as well with the streams when she's driving. Do you have any tips for anybody that's kind of learning in that way? Like what worked well for you to have the information stick?
Just I called it like playing Dora. Like I don't know if you've seen that TV
Oh
show
yeah.
Dora, where she like will look at the camera and go, now like say something. Like that was basically the best thing I did. I'd listen to an episode or a class like at 2x speed, and then I'd re-listen to it again. But the goal was the second round was like to try to predict what Leon was gonna say before he said it. Like
Oh,
it was a tech concept. Yeah.
interesting. I've honestly never heard of that. That's kind of clever though. If you can
Mhm.
anticipate it, it means you remember it. So.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, I like that. So, so when did you start, as far as like the 100 devs process, in that time, when did you start kind of reaching out and looking for jobs, knowing you were comfortable enough to kind of get out of the agricultural business?
I got to that class. I think it's like what 15, where he's
Hmm.
like this is how you crush your technical interviews and give it a shot. And then I didn't listen too carefully about his networking thing, so I just started applying. Like I was like, I got a portfolio. I was like, I think there's enough here. Let me just go. And I heard back from 3 companies. I decided I was gonna go local. Like I wasn't gonna try to go out for like
Mm,
FANG or like anything outside of I think I told myself no more than an hour drive from where I
okay.
live.
So you wanted to be able to commute?
Yeah, that was the intention, and then
Okay.
that's not how it played out. But yeah, no, I had the intention of I'm like I'm gonna go to work because ag. Like I never thought of remote work as something that was possible for me.
Interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, for where you were in your life already, that's not. I mean, working there's no remote work for a farm.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, there really
yeah,
isn't. So I just like it wasn't a thing that quite connected with me. Like I knew it
sure.
existed, but I just didn't think that was in the cards for me. So I was like, I'll do an hour radius from where I live and see what happens. And it turned out well, apparently.
Yeah, apparently so. If anybody else has questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Ron's coming in. Were you using Banky at the time? And do you
Yeah.
use Anki, excuse me, Anki? Yeah.
No, I was using Anki. I still use it now. I mean, like when I'm bored, I'll just like flip through stuff and yeah, still use it today.
Nice, nice. What would you say as far as like the first role? Talk to us about when somebody actually reached out, you got into the interview process. How did that go? Walk us through that.
So I was a clicker. Nobody reached out. I just clicked apply,
Oh,
and yeah, 3 people reached out. I went to the first one, and it was like a weird situation where there was no human. It was like robotic and strange, and like yeah. And I got done with it, and then I found out like the reason I did bad is because I just didn't understand the question. Well, it's like I
mm,
had nobody to ask, so like of course I answered it the way I thought, and
yeah.
then yeah, so that wasn't good. Another one, the person was a jerk. Like, I tried to do the thing, and they just, I had a bad vibe. And then the third one, and I'm still at that current opportunity right now, actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, uh, talked through it, did exactly what Leon said, and it's funny because I actually had this conversation with my manager. Well, he was going to be my future manager recently about it, but he kind of gave me the answer to the question, like just using it, and then
Hmm.
I think it was a couple weeks ago. I had this conversation with him. I was like, "Yeah, you basically gave me the answer," and he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "I was just talking with you, making conversation." I'm like, and I guess this is just a testament to like how good of a system that Leon has, because like he just thought I was literally just talking to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, having that sort of rapport and people like that conversational tone, you pick up on a lot. So it does involve a lot of listening. And
yeah.
I think, again, if a testament to what Leon talks about, um, super important. And again, shout out to Leon. We love Leon here. Um, so you're still there, but you're also putting out tons of content. You have a very very active YouTube channel, which everybody can go check out. If you haven't, go subscribe over here. There's a link on this channel or on this site. When did you kind of transition into doing that? Like, talk about like what the thought process was, and then tell us about your first video too, because that's always interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always had YouTube, but I guess I made my first tech content like right after I landed the job, just because I got so many questions about like how did you
Hmm.
do it and how did you go through 100 devs so quickly. So I just made that video, and I'm glad it still resonates with a lot of people, and even Leon does share it with the community if they're
Hmm.
new or have questions. So yeah, and then ever since then, I've just kind of taken community feedback and created more stuff. Recently, I dropped a video about how I automated using Python, backdating my GitHub squares. So,
Oh, nice.
not just how to manually backdate, but also how to just do it for the whole year. And
That's cool.
yeah, it's been fun and interesting to see the commentary on that. So,
What goes into you making a video? Like, what was the concept or the idea that you would come up with that is the video that you wanted to make as far as like backdating GitHub squares?
just based off of what people have been asking,
Mm,
I think everybody was asking for like, how do I use Python to automate? And most of the people are kind of beginners, and which is great. Like, and
yeah.
creating beginner friendly content. But I found out like a lot of the Python tutorials that I saw, it was like stuff where I'm like, well, that's not like a real life use case, but I thought backdating GitHub squares and using Python to automate it, that's a pretty fun use case. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if it's useful, but it's a pretty fun use case.
Yeah. Well, it's unique. I think like use cases like that, like maybe it's not super helpful, but it kind of sets apart your tutorial. And I think stuff like that gets people's minds thinking around like what they could do with it that is a little bit different or more unique to what they need it for. Um, so you finish 100 devs. Did you finish 100 devs before you got the first role?
Not really. I mean, I got to like class 15 and I was
Yeah.
like, heck, I'll just apply. And then I got the job,
And
like
that was it.
surprisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Nice.
I did later go on to finish it, but it took
Hmm.
like I think a year after that because I was learning a new language. Oh yeah, fun fact about my job. So I got told I got the interview on a Friday, and
Uh-huh.
they said, "All right, you're gonna come in Monday." And I'm glad I asked the recruiter questions. I was like, "Hey, like what's on this like technical thing?" And they're like, "You have to do it in Python and you have to do it in SQL." And I didn't
Oh.
know either. I have never written SQL in my life, and I didn't know Python either. So yeah, I started Friday night. I watched Python for Everybody, all 24 hours of it, like in one sitting. And
Oh my
then,
God.
yeah, and then I did like, I think 4 hours of SQL on Khan Academy because it was free. And then on Sunday, like night, like I think it must have been midnight, I was like, let me try like a few Code Wars. And then I
Oh my
like,
God.
and I like somehow got it together. And I was like, I failed, I think, the first three Code Wars, like for sure. Like I could not solve it.
Yeah.
Then I got to like 4 and 5. I'm like, well, I kind of got it. I'm like, it's fine. I'll show up to the interview. And yeah, I got lucky that one of the questions was the Code Wars that I tried.
Oh, no
So I
kidding.
got really lucky on the sequel part. And then I also got lucky that one of the two Python questions was also the Code Wars that I tried too. And then the last one is the one that I call it social engineered. I kind of got the interviewer to give me the answer, even though he has no recollection of doing that. But just by asking questions. I,
That is crazy. What luck. Like, what dumb luck. But I want to go back to that, like, your background of the hours you work or the mindset in the industry that you were in. Like, you are just totally fine powering through 72 hours of studying because you were just already so
used to it.
trained to, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's hardcore.
yeah,
That is hardcore. So what was the next interview after that then? So you had the tech assessment or the technical
yeah.
interview, if you will. Then what happened from there?
So yeah, they gave me the offer. I got a phone call
That and
from
that
the
was
HR
it.
lady.
Wow.
The HR lady's like, "Would you like to come on?" And she's like, "Can you do it in 2 weeks?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll be there in 10 days." And then I did the negotiation thing, like, "Hey, like you got a little extra wiggle room." They gave it to me, and I signed right then
Amazing.
and there. And I was like, "Well, see you in 2 weeks then." And then yeah, that's I'm still here today, and yeah, and I didn't even think I was gonna be here today either. So that's
Wow. That is awesome.
yep,
Um
found out it was a remote role, so it was great.
Oh, look at that. So, do you get to go into the office at all? Do you doing hybrid or? Okay, that's
I
cool.
do, but it's like once a quarter, if that. Like I think I can count on like one hand how many times I've been into the actual office, so that just
Yeah.
tells you how much more remote it is. But yeah,
Yeah,
and actually, funny story about that. So last year they did a return to office thing, and
uh,
I basically said, "Hey, I'm quitting." Like that's the case. And then they were like, "Well, why?" And I was like, "Well, and it just once again a lucky situation. I already had, thanks to Danny. This is a shout out to him. I already search engine optimized my LinkedIn, so I
yeah.
already had like another job offer. And I just mainly did that interview just to like practice my interview skills. But
Yeah.
they ended up giving me an offer, and it was 50% more than what I was currently making. So I was like,
Wow.
so it was just perfect timing. So I was looking straight at my manager and the leadership, and I was like, yeah, I'll tell you straight. I'm like, I don't like your return to office situation. And on top of that, I'm like, I might as well disclose it now. I got an offer for 50% more. So, like this can be the end of the road for us. And they're like, well, wait a second. And then, they're like, what if we gave you 60% more? I'm like, well, show me in writing. And they did. And then I went back to the original one, and they're like, we can't do 60% more. I'm like, well, I'm sorry then. And they're like, you still want to like work for us? I'm like, yeah, we can like have a win-win situation. And yeah, I do contract work for them now. And then I kept my current job. They gave me the
Mm,
60% raise, and they also grandfathered it in that I never had to do the return to office thing. So I'm like, great.
wow. Can we? So that is some of the best negotiating. Yeah. So someone's like, bro, like that is crazy. And obviously Leon talks a little bit about this, but how do you sort of face that situation? Because I think a lot of people would be intimidated by the conversation that you just had. So, how do you suggest people kind of approach it, like with your mindset?
I guess the thing that I do to kind of like help myself, like, I guess separate that, because yeah, it was anxiety inducing, like
Mm,
at the time, but I do this kind of role play thing in my head where I pretend that I am Mark Cripps. That's what I say. And my entire job in existence is to put more money into Marcia Cripps's bank account. And like, I, I don't know. I kind of like play that role almost
yeah.
of like, and I call it acting. Like I pretend that I am acting, and like the only reason I exist is to get more money into my bank account. And yeah, and at the end of the day, I guess my thing to people that are worried is that it's just business. At the end of the day,
Mm,
people you're talking to, they do $1 million deals or whatever, like they got shareholders too. So no, you shouldn't feel intimidated asking for a big amount because they do it themselves.
yeah. Well played, Jason. The Twitter stream ain't working. Big sad. Okay, well, go somewhere else. We're streaming everywhere. You could definitely watch this somewhere else, Lucas. It's good to see you. Um, Ron's asking more about your 24 hours of video marathon. How were you kind of addressing that as far as studying? You just watching videos and doing Code Wars, or were you hitting up the Anki deck?
I guess no Anki, and then I saved Code Wars to the end. So literally, I would just like watch like Python for Everybody, pause it like after like 10 minutes of content, and go, okay, what's a float in Python? Is zero a number for Python? Which it isn't.
Yeah.
Python freaks out when it sees zero, and then like I just do that, like I literally what you just saw, like, and then I'd play it for another 20, 30 minutes, and then go, okay, well, what did I learn here? Python is a zero indexing language,
Mm.
and what does zero indexing mean? And I just keep going. So
Man, that is some work ethic right there. Much respect. How do we enlist the services of Mark? You're in luck, Ron, because I think we have Mark right now to ask these questions.
yes,
So, how would, because obviously, how long have you been at this role now?
it's been 3 years, which is crazy to think about.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
almost actually to the day. We're actually like at
No
the day.
kidding. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Well, happy anniversary, 3 years. Congrats. You've seen the industry change, obviously, over the last 3 years. How would Mark approach looking for a job right now?
For me, it's just like I said, listen to Danny, get your
Mm,
LinkedIn search engine optimized, and yeah, I mean, I if I really wanted an opportunity, I could just go look at my DMs and have an opportunity. But
wow.
if I didn't have that, I would just be. direct emailing, direct messaging, using that Hunter IO and letting people know. I'd be like, "Hi, my name is Marcia, and like, I see you got this role. I've got experience in medical tech that lines up," and I just drop a quick line, do the thing, and kind of compete with that one guy that had like 20 jobs or whatever. Like, just kind of repeat what.
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
I saw his message. I'm like, I would do it in like 2 sentences, but honestly, I kind of do something similar for my freelancing. So
Yeah, that's happy job anniversary.
thank
Exactly.
you.
So, so you've got the full-time role, you're doing freelancing, you're
Yep.
creating content. What does Marcia do to kind of decompress?
I ride horses. So I get on a 1,500 pound animal that could kill me, and then I decide, yeah, let's go jump a 6 foot fence with it. And I like
Okay.
hunting. I like fishing.
Okay.
So yeah, yep,
Nice, nice. So plenty of outdoor stuff.
yeah.
How are you balancing the work life? I mean, based on how much you've said you work or your work ethic, how do you kind of see when you have to pull away and like take a step back and go out and ride or hit the woods?
I have it scheduled, honestly. Like,
Really?
today's a Monday morning. I know Monday mornings at 5 in the morning, I start driving to go to the barn, and that's just how it is. And like, yeah, I just know what to do, when to do it, and yeah, it goes back to Leon saying, "Have a plan."
Mm. So would you say as far as like the plan is the organization and the scheduling pretty important? You time box that and
Oh
that's
yeah.
kind of the key to that?
Oh, heavy on the time boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I know on weekends, like my Saturdays are free. Like I get to do whatever on a Saturday. So
Nice. And then what do you do on a Saturday then? You go out, duck hunt, fish. I see you do a lot of fishing. I have seen a lot of the fishing content.
yup. I'm pretty lucky that the I live on the water, so like I could just walk 50 feet and do it.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, I have that. But no, I mean this last weekend I went to a rabbit show in Indianapolis and I saw 30,000 rabbits in a room. Like that's what I did on my free Saturday, which I guess isn't technically free because that's my startup, but still, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so let's talk about that a little bit. Nice segue. Speaking of lack of free time, talk to us about this startup.
Yeah, so I created a rabbit bunny breeding management app, and yeah, we just launched November 1, and we got quite a few sales, and yeah, it's been awesome. I think this is a testament to how 100 Devs changes lives. Like, not only did it lead to a high-paying, remote, and like great work-life balance career, but it also led to passive income.
Wow. Why rabbit breeding? Why that specifically?
So my family, they're
Okay.
really into the rabbit showing. I know even Leon thought it was a little strange, but then I think I posted that photo of seeing all 30,000 rabbits in that room, and Leon was like, "Now I see the vision." I'm like, "Yeah, now you see it." But no, rabbit showing's a big deal. It's all over the world, by the way. Like there were people from Japan and people from like all over Europe bringing rabbits in, and these aren't like house pet rabbits. These are
Yeah.
like rabbits going for $500, or like they're not cheap. And genetics are a big thing, like breeding rabbits, and the most important thing for these show people is especially the look, like having the like nice pattern, having the face that's like dished like perfectly, and yeah, you need that information. And as you know, genetics, like it's a math game. And also the other important thing for these guys is having a pedigree. You got to have records of like what was bred with what. And yeah, that's the picture.
Wow.
Yep. So, and that's not even one room. There was like 5 rooms like this, just stacked of rabbits. And yeah, my customers, they pay $5 a month or $50 a year. And the most important thing too is when you sell a rabbit, you got to give the pedigree. And creating them is a headache, especially when you got like 20 little babies born. So
Hmm.
that's what my app does. It solves that issue.
Wow. That's, and again, it kind of goes back to the practicality of what you're doing. You're finding things around you to try to solve with tech. Do you
Yep.
th- do you think that that's something that a lot more people should kind of focus on? Like more what's happening around you and not those bigger pictures? Because you even
Correct.
mentioned early on, like you weren't looking for the fang rolls or anything like that.
That's right, and I'm not Steve Jobs. I think I if I learned something about myself recently is that I'm not like a visionary person where like Steve Jobs, he like made this and was like, the people don't know they need it. Like that's literally
Yeah.
like what he said. Where for me, I'm the exact opposite. I'm okay, what do the people like have a problem with? And then can I solve that with tech? And are they willing to pay for it? And if those three things line up, that's when you see me. And and ag tech's like kind of my niche just because of my background.
Hmm.
And and I think that's something. Speaking of like bigger companies, a lot of these Silicon Valley ag tech companies get it wrong. Is that they're not farmers and they smell it, and the farmers don't like it when these big town city people come in and tell them how to farm. Like they don't like it.
Yeah. No, that's definitely understandable. What do you see as other maybe issues that you've thought about tackling? Not to like give other people ideas, but I bet that there's other ones that you've seen that are pretty big that maybe you're just not even able to figure out right now.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I see it in other industries like fitness.
Mm,
I think there's a lot of stuff that's wrong in the fitness industry that could be
yeah.
solved by tech. I think there's a lot of opportunity in like so many like niche markets. I actually there was a reptile show going on during that same time, and
Mm,
I found out like the reptile people have a lot of problems selling like those pythons or those boa constrictors.
yeah.
Like there's so many problems there where I look at and like you can solve that with tech and not even these super niche ones, but like look at established businesses. And when I say established businesses, like they're like 20 to 30 years old, they got maybe like 50 employees. Like these people are running on old stuff. You
Yeah.
don't need to make something new for them. You almost just need to bring them to modern times.
Yeah, that's true. Also, maybe someone should create an app for scheduling locations because clearly there isn't one that decided a snake and a rabbit show were good to have at the same area.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I thought it was like hilarious. There'd be like pythons and stuff, and I'm like, I feel like this isn't good, but
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, that they could probably use some help. So this is something that Leon does talk about in 100 Devs as far as like freelance clients and putting yourself out there. How have you approached doing that?
Ooh, so I just do that Bob Vance thing. Like I go out in public, doesn't matter, and wherever I'm at, I go, "Hi, I'm Marcia." I always have a business card on me, and I build apps and websites, and I've gotten so much traction doing that. And then even just posting myself on social media, just sharing
Mm.
my journey about what I'm making. And I recently had a call from somebody from North Dakota. He just randomly reached out. He's like, "I got this idea." He's like, "I got 7,000 customers, and I struggle at doing this." He's like, "I'm still using a printer," and he's like, "I know that's not that that can't work." He's an ag, and then I was like, "Yeah, let me help you." So I made a custom solution for him.
That's awesome. I feel like there's so many industries that are sort of I don't want to say behind the times because I would say in agriculture there's plenty of technological advancements,
Oh,
but
yeah.
maybe in the wrong areas. So I feel like for you that's definitely a great market. What was the biggest challenge you had to overcome to land your first paid client for your startup? That's what Ron is asking. So,
So I got lucky, or maybe this is well, it was purposely by design. I didn't come up with the solution and then find customers. I found the customer base first and asked
mm,
them, I'm like, "Hey, what's the issue?" And it was my cousin at first, and she had a bunch of people that showed rabbits too, and they're like, I hate writing pedigrees. They're like, that's like the worst thing. It's the bane of my existence. Or I hate copying pedigrees from other people when I buy rabbits, and it's a problem. So I made the app so it was scannable. It scanned their pedigrees, and also I made it editable too. So like if they change the rabbit's name or
cool.
whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I did that, and then I was like, "How much would you pay for this stuff?" And they're like, there's a competitor that already existed. They're asking too much. They're like, $50 a month is too much money. I'm like,
Wow.
well, I looked at my cost and I was like, well, what would you be willing? They're like, $5. I'm like, well, I still make money, so I'm like, $5 it is then. And then I'm like, what if you paid for a year? They're like, well, I'd like a little bit of a discount. I'm like, how's 20%? And they're like, yeah, I'd do 20%. So I'm like, $50 a year then, and that's the business model I run on, and obviously it's working. Yeah, it's to the point where even the competition went and found me when I was at the
Really?
yeah.
No kidding. Better watch out for them. They're going to shake you down.
they can try.
I love that. So, how many active users do you have right now, or like paying users?
I think we passed the 500 mark, like just because we were, yeah. I mean, but I was running around the whole like floor, like you saw that big
Yeah.
building,
Oh yeah.
handing out flyers, going, "Hey, give us a shot, give us a try, and let me know what you think." And yeah,
That's oh wow. That's crazy. And again, I see where your background or experience made you comfortable with kind of again like the more grassroots methods. Um, because a lot of people would be very hesitant to just canvas like that. But I feel like that if I do that. So it's like, again, I think it has a lot to do with your trajectory to where you are
yep.
now. Lucas wants to know how you juggle everything. Uh,
Schedule, time
Yeah.
boxing, yep.
How much time do you schedule yourself a week to just not work?
I should do more, but I give myself at least somewhere between 12 to 24 hours where like don't look at any piece of technology, do anything but that, and then yeah.
So you schedule everything, but do you like plan? So I mean, like, are you looking out a year for the Rabbit app? Like, what are your goals for that? Or do you have something already in the works? Like, how far in advance do you plan for things?
I think yeah, at most a year. Because I found out plans change, or you find out your
Mm.
customers. And I did learn this a lot with my Rabbit app. I had a feature that I was really proud about, and nobody flipping used it, except for my cousin because I told her to use it. And
Yeah.
then the feature that I was kind of meh about was actually the scanning. I thought like
Mm.
that feature was. I thought it was sucky. First of all, I
Oh.
was like, I used it myself. I was like, this is stupid. I'm like, I wouldn't use this. And but it's the one that I look at it, it pings that API the most. That's the one that gets used the most and the one that's talked about the most. And yeah, yep.
What sort of expenses does the Rabbit app have? You mentioned the API, so I'm wondering if that's probably where a lot of the expense comes.
Yeah, and not really. I think
Oh,
it's cost us like 50 cents.
oh wow.
Probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the domain I think was the
Mm,
most expensive thing. Buying the main website and the app's like domain. So I think that set me back what, 15 bucks or something.
no, that's
So I
not
mean,
bad.
we've well over broken even. And
Yeah.
then I think our biggest expenses are marketing expenses, honestly, like
Mm,
going to this event, printing the flyers out or the business
sure.
cards. Uh, but to actually run the app, it's like next to nothing.
No,
So
it's not bad. When do you see it potentially being an opportunity to walk away from a full-time role? Is that the goal?
yeah, that'd be cool. But like, I mean, it's fine if it doesn't happen. I think
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I don't subscribe to a lot of the entrepreneurship viral content where like you got to quit your job or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think so. And I've talked and networked with other people that are doing what I'm doing. And there's a guy that I know. He's got like 10 of these going on, and he still
Wow.
has a day job. So I'm like, yeah, because honestly, after launching, there's not much. I mean, there was a few things I had to tweak. Like I made some spelling errors or whatever, and then
Oh.
like I had to tweak that. Or like my cousin's like the main person doing customer service, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't like the way like it routes me like this," so I had to change that. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, but like again, like I said, that's my strategy though. I go off of what the customer tells me. I don't. I'm not good at coming up with new stuff. I go with what they want, or they'll show me examples, and that's what I do.
Do you think that that's the best way to approach excuse me, approach the app development from your end is like listening more to the customer? I think this is more of a commentary about like how people should maybe approach doing this for themselves as well. Just listening or again, kind of A/B testing apps or features that you think makes sense.
Yeah, I think at least in my use case, I found out A/B testing. It did kind of work, but I found out after that, I'm like, I'm just gonna straight listen to the customers. Like listen to the top users, and I just kind of follow what they want. But I'm in a very active and very like opinionated community that
Mm-hmm.
like, and there's only so much with rabbits too, and like what I'm doing. There's only
Mm-hmm.
so much you can do. So, but honestly, it just depends on you too and your personality. Like, I don't know, you might be Steve Jobs. Like, you might be this huge visionary, and if so, then yeah, you tell us like what we need. But I just know I'm not that person. I'm not the person to go, hey, you need to do this
Yeah.
thing that you don't know you need.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I can confirm I am also not Steve Jobs, so that
Yep.
you will not be getting that information from me. Um,
And also, I'd never be confident too. Like, if I ever
mm,
went with that play, let's say, and if I made an app and I was like, you don't know you need this app, like, I just knew I couldn't confidently say that. But
yeah.
Steve Jobs would. He'd be confident enough to say that. So,
Yeah, he definitely would. So you mentioned opinionated like groups.
mhm.
Um, how do you handle that, especially with like creating content in tech? I feel like to the tech industry is a very opinionated industry, but you're out there making tech content, all of your YouTube stuff. Like, how do you sort of address maybe like trolls or haters, or has that ever like kind of dinged you and made you kind of think about like not doing it anymore?
No, because I'm like, well, you're actually interacting with my stuff and
Mm,
actually pushing it out to more people in that niche. So, I welcome it. I actually replied back to trolls, not because I'm trying to defend myself, but I do it just to like boost the actual post.
yeah,
That's the real reason I do it. But no, I mean, I don't have an issue with the trolls, honestly. And you just gotta, I guess, like have your own personal standards, stick with them, and as long as you stay true to that,
yeah.
matter.
How did you sort of get to that mindset? Because I doubt, well, I don't say that confidently, but I would imagine that in your former life, there wasn't a lot of that.
Hmm. Like, I guess I'm trying to see if I understand the question. I guess trying to get to it. Could you
Yeah,
repeat
like, well, yeah, let
it?
me rephrase. So I would imagine in your former life of working on a farm, you didn't have a lot of like, well, actually, no, maybe you did, because I would say that that's probably a pretty male driven industry
Yeah, and
to
they're very
some
opinionated.
aspect.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe
Yeah,
you did. So maybe it's from
yeah.
your
It
pre.
just like yeah. No, honestly, I think it just I always know like you're open to criticism, like it, and that's okay. I mean, I
Mhm.
take all criticism, and I feel like if you want to be successful at anything, not just tech, like you got to be able to take criticism well. So
Yeah. Wow. No, that's very true. I think when you again sort of just treat it as the business, ultimately it's feedback that's meant to drive things forward, not directly to you. Um,
yeah, you can't take it personal. That's
yeah.
yeah, you really can't.
Yeah. Super good point. So as far as like the industry now, if you were to go back and do something differently, what would you do? Would you change anything as to how you approached it?
Not really. I feel like Leon's program's pretty evergreen
Mm,
just because it does teach you the fundamentals of everything. And even though I don't use JavaScript or MERN stack at
yeah.
all, like it gave me everything I needed, like as a good foundation to what I do now.
Mm, I
Because I
like.
mean, I code React Native, Next.js. That's mainly what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, what would you suggest? I mean, you've seen now the industry kind of evolving over the last couple of years. What would you suggest people focus on? Like, what do you think's really gonna help people maybe find a job? Like, where are you seeing some trends?
Trends. I think at least where I've been looking, I see a lot of Python. I see a lot of React Native.
Mm,
No, it just really depends on where you're at. And once again, I think it's more regional than people want to admit. Like it really is a regional thing. Like Mernstack, never seen it where I'm at.
yeah.
But when I switched my location to like Los Angeles or like Bay Area, I was like, oh yeah, Leon is right. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of Mernstack here. Yeah.
So, would you suggest that people also kind of reassess how they're approaching looking for roles? Because I think, again, and you touched on it very early on, you had already had your mindset. You wanted to look at local roles.
Yes. Yeah. So no, I think getting very direct about at least when it comes to looking for a job, regions, and then realizing that it is regional, and
Hmm.
then number two, I think there's a lot of value in just doing a direct reach out, even if it is just one line, versus clicking apply, and then networking. I mean, post, go to like a meetup or whatever, get your name out there, let people know like that you're looking. I think that's a huge thing.
For sure. You mentioned Meetup. I haven't seen you talk a lot about in person tech events. Do you attend? Do you go to conferences and meetups yourself?
I do, but like that's not where my customers are. I mean, at the end of
Mm,
the day, like my freelancing business, my customer is the farmer or the guy that's servicing like 7,000 farmers.
yeah.
Honestly, it's recently been like the guy that's servicing 7,000 farmers. I think or like the trucking guy. It's the
Mm,
trucking business that's actually moving all the crops. Like that's who my real customer is. And then I don't know. I like going to like places where I know people can afford my pricing too. Like I go to the country club. I can't golf to save my life, but I pretend I kind of know what's going on, and then I always ask for help, and then I always let it slip. Like, hey, I'm a software engineer, and I make websites and I make apps, and usually I make a quick sale, like just going, hey, I'll make you a better website, and that's what I do.
what a move. Do you have like a specific outfit you wear to the like you've got your country club sales outfit and you
Yeah,
put it on?
basically. Yeah, yeah. I got my black polo. Like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, this is what I do when I go. And then, yeah, or like I horse show. Like, I'll go to the horse shows, and while I'm waiting, I'll just like start talking to people and
Mm.
going, oh yeah, that's cool. You got your own horse business. Oh, I looked you up. I couldn't find your website, and then that's when they go, oh yeah, actually, I don't have one. I'm like, oh well, you know what? I build websites. Here's my card, and give
Oh
me a call.
man. These are gems. Like I feel like people do not take advantage of these types of tips because basically what she is saying is all of the business that you could want is probably right in your backyard if you look for it.
Oh heck yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
it's the people you don't think of. It's like the people that clean gutters or, like the people that do power washing or
mhm.
detail cars. They need a website.
Yeah, wow. I love that. Have you considered any like speaking? Have you thought about doing any sort of talks about what you do or what you've built at like tech events?
I guess so. I guess the trick or the thing that I'm not sure if the audience is into though, because I feel like it's mostly people with a W-2 job, is that my content wouldn't be about the tech at all. It would be
Mm.
more about like doing business, honestly. I feel like that's what would make my content different because honestly, I'm not a great coder. I'll be the first to admit. Yeah.
So what would you say your strength is then?
Problem solving. I
Mm.
always tell people all I do is solve problems for people or make their lives easier, and I just the tool is coding. Like I reach for Python when I know like a client he's sick of billing, and I'm like I'll reach for Python to make it so he doesn't have to do the thing that sucks, or I'll reach for React Native if I know they got this app idea that they think is going to be killer, or I'll reach for Next.js if they want a website that is so SEO optimized that they show up on ChatGPT. Like, yeah,
Wow. I love that. Has cold calling worked for you or is it mainly face to face?
face to face would be my cold calling. So literally that interaction at the golf course. Like I'll just be
Yeah.
talking to somebody and just going, hey, oh yeah, by the way, I build websites and stuff, or they'll tell me what they do. I always go, hey, what do you do? And oh, cool, you do seawalls. What's the name of your business? Oh, dang, I can't find it on my phone. Oh, you don't have a website? I got you.
Oh my God, this is like really secret superpower here because, I think a lot of people in our community are going to tech events hoping to network and like make a connection that could lead to something, but that's not where it's at. I don't think that's where it's at
And it
all.
can be you got to just do the what's that gentleman's name, Soham Parek or whatever.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I've done it too. Like when I'm in a pinch financially, actually it's not a pinch financially. It's just I wanted something. I
Sure.
wanted a boat. I wanted a boat recently, and um, so I just started DMing like ag tech startups that were just new. Like I go on Crunchbase, you can do the filter and be like, I want to see the companies that just showed up less than 90 days ago.
Yeah.
And I would just DM them or find their email on 100.io, and I'm like, hey, this is my freelance business. I can do Python, I can do React or whatever, and I'm looking for something very short term. Like I'm not going to be with you forever, but you need help for like to get you to day 30. I got you. And then yeah, and I'm like, here's my rate. It's going to be a one-time rate, and like we don't ever have to speak again if you don't want to. And preferably, I also don't want to speak with you again either. Um,
And I would actually prefer if you don't reach out after this. That would be
Yeah,
great.
no, I literally helped this startup. They're gone. They ran out of money because
Yeah.
that's the reality. A lot of these startups they just run out of money, and I get it. Now that I'm in their shoes, it's easy to run out of money. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, they wanted me to help them just keep themselves afloat. Literally, they were like, "Hey, our CTO quit. I just need somebody for 30 days not to burn the place down. So I said my rate is going to be 5,000 for the month. They
Yeah.
paid me 5 grand, and I think they cut it short, and that was fine. I talked with them and said, hey, if you cut
Yeah.
it short, let me know. And the last week, all I did was say, hey, new CTO, this is where everything is. And I didn't light it on fire. You can have the keys, and we don't need to speak again. And that's okay.
Oh my
So
God, that's brilliant. What was the name of the startup site that you mentioned?
it's funindex.com. Yeah. You can go look it up. Or is he talking about Crunchbase?
I think
Yeah,
Crunchbase. Yeah.
Crunchbase. Yeah. Yep. And don't pay. Don't pay. Just I found out the trick is get it to backdate only 30 days, and then wait like an hour or two, or go incognito mode, and then pick 60 days. And yeah, don't pay.
Yeah. Please hesitate to reach out.
Yes, that's basically me. Especially with these startups. I mean, I'm not trying to hate startups, but they are grinding, and that's fine. They're grinding, but as a employer, as a contract person, it's not a fun place to be full time. So no, that's my specialty, and I guess I have gone to a couple like local tech meetups or like tech conferences that are regional, and that's usually how I present myself. I'm like, hey, don't know if you need anything right now, but like if you're ever in a pinch or something, you give me a call, and like this is a short term thing, and I won't let the place burn down on you, but I'm not gonna be the guy with you or girl with you when you go public on the stock exchange. Like I won't be
Right.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so smart. I love that.
Yeah, and they
Um,
appreciate the honesty, honestly. Like
yeah.
like they
No,
do. I'm like,
I
hey,
was
I
gonna
won't be
say,
here.
yeah.
I'm not like Stoham, even though like I thought what he did was still pretty epic, but I'm very straight with you. Like, hey, I got other stuff going on, but I will help you get to day 60 or wherever you're trying to go. But if your goal is to be on the New York Stock Exchange, good luck. I believe in you, but I won't be there.
That ain't me.
Yep.
That's it, but I honestly I think that pragmatic approach can be really appealing
Hmm.
because, at the end of the day people just want to get to the end line however it is. So it's like if you're offering the opportunity like, look, I can get you this. Let's just do that. They
Yep.
like having it laid out for them like that cuz it makes their jobs simpler. So again, you're solving problems.
Yes.
So that's fantastic. I love it. We've got a few minutes left here, and again, I really appreciate you hanging out with us today and answering all of our questions. It's been super insightful. Um, I had one, and now I'm completely drawing a blank.
No
Let's see.
worries.
Let's check the chat here. I swear I
Yeah.
saw one.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the name of the startup site? Cold calling. Yeah, it was sort of about how. What the heck? It had something to do with 100 devs. I'm present. Everybody's here from 100 devs. I love that. Um, what were we saying? Nope. Totally lost it. Oh yeah,
That's
how are you handling socials and monetizing,
oh.
etc.?
Socials, I don't really care about. I think Roxy did have a question. We had an Atlas conversation actually about like
Hmm.
monetizing and using social media. I think it's like a lottery system, like it just sometimes you make big money and then sometimes you don't. There's zero consistency to it. I look at social media more as that's a way to free advertise myself,
Mm,
and like I said, the recent opportunity with that guy that he's like, I got 7,000 farming customers, and he's like, I have a problem and I know I can solve it with tech. I think you can build it. Like that's what I use social media for. I want to get to people like him. I don't look at it as I'm going to quit my job and be an influencer full time with this.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, I don't. I think people should not do that ever because that's such a crapshoot. I think if
It's
you're
so
just doing
risky.
it, yeah, if you're just doing it like you are, organically with no intention, it just sort of comes. If it was meant to, it will. Um, what what does success look like to you? I feel like I have a pretty good idea at this point just based on the conversation, but I'm very curious like what that looks like for you.
Just being happy, honestly, and getting up with a purpose. And I think that's why I know a lot of people, they look at my schedule and they go, you got to be having burnout. And yeah, I am working a lot of hours, but I think it's I have control, or I choose what I want to do. And it's a different beast when you're, trying to make somebody else's dreams come true versus your own. So
I love that. I'm not a full-time influencer. Go away, Michael. I hate that. What what do you feel when you hear the term influencer?
Unfortunately, I think of the people that are like, doing the unboxings and they got a bunch of crap like just
Yeah.
like piled up. Yeah, I think the that word is invoke cringe on a lot of people, and I get why. I
Yeah.
think there's nothing wrong with it. Like if you get like 2 million people following and doing stuff for you, then more power to you. Yeah.
I think it's not for everybody.
Mhm.
Me being one of them. I think if you go into it, as with anything, you're very transparent and upfront. Like this is what I'm trying to do. This is it. I think if that's the goal and you do it, great. I think again, if it happens organically, great. But I don't like when it's not intentional or again just like transparent. So you
Yep.
influence me 40 hours a week. Okay, great. That's wonderful. All right, last question. This is totally off the cuff here. I mentioned it earlier before we actually started streaming. If you lean to your left or right, there's a couple tiaras back there. I would love to know the story behind those. Are they the horses or are they yours?
Uh, they are actually mine. So a while ago, I was Miss Michigan, like many years ago. I'm too old now. And then
What?
I also did Miss California, so that's what these things are from. And that's how I paid for
Wow.
college, actually. Fun fact.
No kidding.
Yep, pageants helped pay for my college, so
Uh,
I did it. Yep.
You pretty much love finding things that involve tons of work and perfection, it seems like.
Yeah, I guess so. And then, but I mean, the pageants did help. I feel like that's why I don't have a problem like going up to a stranger and going, "Hey, what do you do
Yeah.
for a living?" And oh, wait, you need a website to do the thing that you do for a living? Or I find out, oh wait, just through like conversation, like, oh, that's got to be a fun job, and they go, actually, what sucks is the appointments or like setting up appointments, and I'm like, oh, would it be helpful, if that got automated away for you? And wait, I think I can automate that for you, and then go from there.
And there it is. You can have your site scheduling automated by Miss Michigan.
Exactly, basically. And then, yeah, no, I mean, and I think, yeah, this is for everybody in the audience or whatever, like, opportunities there. I think you just got to ask the right questions, and goes back to what Leon was saying about the technical interviewing. Just ask the right questions, and it doesn't need to feel like salesy, like that, like, oh, I'm trying to
Yeah.
sell you something. It doesn't need to.
Yeah. I love that. I think we should end on that. That was perfect. Miss Michigan rap former. Do you still call is that a your former or
I'm a
you're
has
just
been. Yeah,
oh,
I
a
just,
has
yeah.
been. Stop. I love that. Well, thank you so much again for hanging out with us today. Everybody can go connect with Marcia over at Stand Store. I've never heard of Stand Store. What is that? It's like
Yeah,
a
I
link
like
tree
it.
site.
Yeah, sort of, but like you get paid per click, so that's why I like it.
Oh,
And then yeah, you can like actually put like stuff on there like PDFs or whatever and charge people. And I also like that with meetings you can block it by a paywall too. So like if
no kidding.
anybody since my time is valuable, if you want to do more than an hour call with me or something, I do charge, but under an hour it's fine. But yeah, no, it's a great other income source, and
Oh
I highly
yeah.
recommend it to people.
Well, I
So
need everybody to go click that so she can get a couple cents from the stream. That would be
heck yeah,
fantastic. And then that's really it. So thanks to the chat. Thank you, Marcia. Again, shout out to 100 Devs. If
that's
anybody
right.
is not in 100 Devs and interested in checking it out, you can go check out communitytaught.org. I don't know if that's on your Stand Store site, but that is the learning app that one of the 100 Dev students actually built, I believe. So that's
Oh,
pretty
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
I would put that on there. Yeah.
you definitely should. Outside of that, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, Marcia. Again, thank you for hanging out with us. Hang out a second behind stage so I can thank you. And
Cheers.
hey, everybody, remember it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. We'll see ya. Go
That's
get
right.
that boat. Everybody,
That's
go
right.
get
Get
out there
that
and
book,
get that
guys.
boat. Bye, everybody.